What are your views on this pandemic and how has it affected you?
Well, I think I'm going to answer that question in the reverse. It hasn't directly affected me. I mean, I am in the healthcare industry, so I'm on the front line. I don't have like maybe direct contact with patients at time, but then again maybe I do because I'm a case manager, so there are times that I'm in the rooms where I have to visit patients. So far, thankfully, I haven't visited anyone who has tested positive for the coronavirus, at least not this strain, the COVID-19. So my views are this. We've known about the pandemic. And when I say we, I'm talking about our government officials. Like, we've known about the pandemic for months before our Congress and the president had started to do anything about it. It's unfortunate that many people, thousands of people, have lost their lives due to this virus. So I think that I wish our government had acted sooner so that more people could have been protected. And I feel really bad for families who have lost loved ones due to this virus. So those are just some of my views. I could go further, but then I think it'll become politicized. But those are my views for now.
What advice would you give young adults about the COVID-19?
Well, the first thing I would say that you have to obey the laws of the land. When you have government officials or even at the local levels, the mayor telling us to stay inside, to avoid crowds, to maintain social distancing, I think that young people, that you need to adhere to these things. I'd say to protect yourself, just make sure you continue to wash your hands. Good hand hygiene is the key, So that's the advice that I would give young people, to keep yourselves safe. And then, again, avoiding crowds, because although you may not be affected with the coronavirus, you never know what people you are coming in contact with, and you could very well be a carrier. And you don't want to be the one who carries this thing back home to your families, and especially if you have family members who have underlying chronic conditions like diabetes, COPD, asthma, things of that nature. So the advice that I would give you is obey the laws, keep yourself corona-free by constantly washing your hands and social distancing as they are asking us. That's the advice I give you.
What are your views on the coronavirus?
I believe the coronavirus is spreading wildly, and people need to take care of themselves, such as wearing face masks and, just staying home. At least stay 6 feet away from people.
How has this virus affected you?
Well, kept me from school, so I can't see my friends, and all the basketball courts are shut down, so I can't practice on my basketball skill.
What precautions have you taken, given that you must leave home to take care of your father who is disabled?
Well, I've bought a few masks. I put one on when I go into my dad's house. I also glove up, have Lysol, bleach, and I sanitize before going into the home and when I leave out of his house. And, well, before leaving his house, I also wipe down everything that I touch. I, of course, wash my hands, put gloves on, and I also make sure he has alcohol, sanitizer, Lysol wipes, and things of that nature. And then when I'm on my way back to my house, because I have to go from one home to another home, I make sure that I sanitize my car, change my clothes immediately, try to wash my clothes at least twice a week, if not sometimes more, because of how I have to put my family in jeopardy with leaving from my mom's home to go to my dad's house to take care of him.
Are you in fear of losing your job, considering that thousands of people have been fired or furloughed from theirs?
No, I mean, I fear every day outside of this pandemic, because of the industry I work in. The pandemic doesn't change how I feel or how I felt before this. I'm working from home currently, and I take it day by day. Anybody can lose their job outside of a pandemic or with this pandemic, so it's a fear. It's a level of fear there that I face every day.
Are you scared that you might catch the virus?
Yeah, that's a real fear. You just never know. My mom works in a hospital where she's around people who could possibly have it, or they have it there, so she's at risk. I'm at risk for simply having to leave every day to take care of my dad, or to do everyday things like go to Walmart to make sure we have the things that we need at home. And it's a fear every day that I wake up.